7 hours and his blood is still alive.
In your eyes, take you wonder by wonder, over, sideways, and under, on a magic.
Good evening, cultists. Cult Leader Carter here to talk about Season 1, Episode 4 of House of the Dragon. What an episode, and while not action-packed, there was a lot to unravel here, so let's get to it. We start off with Rhaenyra being sent on a tour of Westeros by her father to find an eligible suitor. Now, when she has on this tour, she's at Storm's End, and this is the first time we've seen Storm's End, the home of the Baratheons. First time we've seen it through Game of Thrones or in House of the Dragon, so it was pretty neat to see the hall. And she first sees this suitor who's older than her father. She's like, get this guy out of here. And this little kid comes up and says, "Hi, will you marry me?" And she's like, "You're like ring 12. No, absolutely not." And some other guy, has some choice words off to the side, calls him a couple of certain things that aren't friendly for YouTube. So the kid challenges him to a fight. Princess Rhaenyra's like, peace out, gone. And as she's leaving, this little kid carves that guy in half, just right through the chest. And he's standing over him, so I'm like, I like this kid, and I hope he's back. So Rhaenyra's back on her ship. She's sailing back to King's Landing, and lo and behold, sees her uncle, Daemon, flying overhead, rocks her boat, like friggin', she's knocked back and forth. Everybody's kind of, "Oh, what are you doing, mate?" And she's like, "Oh, that's my badass uncle. He might as well be riding through town on a motorcycle and leather jacket. Awesome." So there the king gets word. He sees his daughter come through here, and the king is all, "Oh, why is my daughter here? I sent her away. I'll deal with her later." But he is loading up his men, all of the king's guard in front, all of the people to join, the returning prince. So he comes storming in. He's cut all his hair off. Not sure why. Maybe it was covered in, crab feeder blood. He was just like, "This is too difficult to clean. I'm going to kick it out." So he comes in. He's wearing his own crown of bones that the crab feeder was wearing. He's got a sword with him. He approaches, and the king's guard takes out their sword, puts it right to his chest. They're like, "You're not going anywhere." He's like, "Chill." Takes that sword out, holds it out, throws it on the ground, says, "Add it to the throne." And then he kneels in front of his brother. And that was a beautiful moment. We get to see him go, "Oi, I'm just here." But Daemon being Daemon, he has other intentions. But he still bends the knee to his brother. He's like, "Hey, you're awesome, and here's one to add to you. The many, many swords on your throne, melt it down, put it over here, I don't care. And here's my crown too." Whatever. Anyway. So, we later see Princess Rhaenyra talking with her former friend, the Lady Hightower, who's now queen. She's scored out a couple of kids for the king, and she's like, "I miss you." And she's like, "Oh, I miss you too. Oh, we used to be such good friends." "Yeah, we did. Oh, it's not so bad being betrothed." And Rhaenyra's like, yes it is." So, she has no intention of being betrothed to anyone. She wants to marry because she wants to be happy, not to marry because, I have to political assignments, yada, yada, yada. I don't want to do this. No. Oh! And we see a little bit of Alysanne Hightower's mental state throughout this episode, how she's happy that she's queen, but also lonely. No one is her friend. She has no friends anymore because she's queen. Only on the top, people. So, we get to that point, which is pretty awesome. And she goes through a room later on, and we've had some small council things here and there. What do? We have this problem. Rhaenyra should marry this guy because it'll solve our problems here. The Sea Snake is offering his son to one of the houses of Bravos, which brings the free cities into play. We don't want the Sea Snake getting too powerful, so we're going to need to do something about this. Meanwhile, we go on later in the episode, and these are the important things. I'm just kind of going over the importance here. Rhaenyra goes up to her room and sees this friggin' satchel. Opens it up and it's all, oh, what's this? And friggin' just normal kind of dirty clothes, and there's a map. She presses the door. She follows the map, presses the door. Secret passage. So she puts on the proper clothes and goes down. It's a secret passage out. She's going out, and she meets Daemon. He's like, "Come with me. We're gonna go burn this town to the ground." So they get on, and he's trying to teach her about how life really is in King's Landing. How it's all. He's cloaked up, and she has her hair up in a pauper's hat. They're all walking around. They're like, oh, and then they come into a play. Here's a play depicting the goings-on of King's Landing. And it doesn't, it shows the people's true reflection of how they view the king and the queen and her brothers and everything. And it's not too kind to Princess Rhaenyra. So, to that end, she's a little like, "Oi, this is what they think. I don't care what they think." And Daemon's like, "You should. If you want to rule, you really should." So they go on. She runs away with him playfully, and he's chasing her. And meanwhile, I'm getting whole, riff-raff, street rat, Princess Jasmine runs away from the Palace of Aladdin kind of vibes. I want to see what it's like on the other side. And we get quick shots of the queen being alone, just kind of sipping wine, being alone, taking care of babies, being alone, all alone, no friends, sad. And she's trying to go to bed, and then one comes up, "Hey, the king wants you," and she's like, "It's the middle of the night." And the one says, "Yeah, the king still wants you." Okay. So she gets up, leaves, and we get more with Princess Rhaenyra and Daemon run through. She runs into a guard, and she's like, "Sir, whatever," because his name wasn't important. "Princess," and then the guard sees Daemon, like, "You get along now before you get caught," and goes on about her way. Awesome. So, at that point, Daemon's like, "We gotta go to this place." I'm like, all right. Meanwhile, the queen is still pretty caught up, and Daemon takes his own niece to a brothel. And he goes down, and it is like a whole new world with penises and vaginas, and boobs. But you're also with your niece. But it's Westeros, so It's a Targaryen, so bigger. We all know they kind of keep the bloodline in themselves. It's weird, but whatever. Anyway, Daemon's trying to show her, hey, sex isn't just a thing you have to do. It's for pleasure. This feels good. Let's try something. And they start making out, and it's hot, and they're against the wall, and Daemon can't rise to the occasion. And he gets frustrated, punches the wall and leaves. And the princess is like, WTF? I'm sitting here, I'm turned on, nothing. So, we get shots of the Lady Hightower getting plowed by the king. Obviously, he still has, I guess, cancer. That's best, or some sort of flesh rot where he's lost 2 fingers already, and you can see the spots on his back, but he's just kind of plowing around. She looks about as interested as I would at a golf tournament. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's obviously she's very lonely, and to her, sex is merely a duty. And the princess is trying to figure out, no, life is pleasure, and I can be pleasured. So she like runs back to her room. She runs back through the front door, which I thought was a little weird, and runs into her own, Kingsguard knight. And she takes his helmet, and he's like, "Come here." And they get a little playful, and she wants him, he wants her, and bam, she, friggin' de-armors him. So, ain't good for her. She's coming into her own as a woman. Same time, he just broke his vow of celibacy. That's what the Kingsguard do. They're celibate. Meanwhile, there was a spy at the brothel, and the spy runs off to tell Lord Hightower, who's the hand of the king, hey, your daughter was your brother at a brothel. She didn't. That was the intent, but it never did happen. But still, bam. So, Lord Hightower goes, tells the king this. The king's like, you're get out. You're full of it. Get out. And the king confronts Daemon. We see him a little bit earlier walk up, kind of in a almost brothel hostel. It's his old lady friend who wakes him up. He's like, get up and drink this. He's like, I want to feel pain. I'm so tortured. She's like, yeah, get up and pay for the room on the way out. So he goes to the couch, and the Kingsguard kind of kick his knee out, drag him up. He's like, oh, and he gets in there, and the king just starts wailing at him, kicking him, screaming at him, my own daughter, kicking him. Like, and he's like, they give me a daughter. And he's like, you didn't return here because you love me. You returned here because you wanted something. It's true. Daemon's always the man with a plan. So, king says, go back to the Vale, get out of my sight, or I'll kill you. Daemon's just sitting there chuckling. He knows the seed is planted in his niece, and metaphorically, never happened, yet. So, this goes on and on. Meanwhile, word gets to the princess that her father knows about this tryst out. So he confronts her. He shows her a blade. He heats it up and has a secret in the detail. Only can be read if the blade is heated. And, almost like the ring in Lord of the Rings. It was pretty cool. Reads it, and it's about the prophecy. The one who is promised, and the song of Ice and Fire. Reads that, and it's like, I have trusted you. Now you must do something. You are going to marry this sea snake's son. Say that 5 times fast. And I'm not going to hear anything about it. And the princess is like, all right, fine. I'll do that. You need to get rid of your hand. Like, one, he served 2 kings. And he's like, his interest or no. He would do anything to have me lose my position and have his grandson on the throne. And you know it. And I know it. The king does just that. He has a conversation with Lord Hightower. He's like, listen, your interests no longer align with the thrones. You're too close to it. Thank you for your service. Get out. So, end of the episode. The maester walks in, hands the princess a thing, and like, you might want to drink this. Why? It's an iced tea. What tea is it? It's an iced tea. Basically, it was Plan B. You know what Plan B is, kids. And that was the end of the episode. So we're left with Daemon being exiled yet again. He was back for a short time. We have the princess being told, hey, you're going to do this. And we have an open position for Hand of the King. A lot of information dropped. Great episode. I give it an up. Bunch of pentagrams right at the top here. We'll give that episode 4 out of 5 pentagrams. I'll dig it. So, until next week, cultists, have fun, stay safe. Like, share, and subscribe our channel. Links are in the bottom. And I hope you have a great rest of the week. Dracarys.